What's up everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I was minding my own business, doing it for the gram, when like a couple of weeks ago someone started reaching out to me with some tea about teen mom to star Jade Cline getting into a lot of trouble at her salon. Jade Cline works, or now I should say worked, apparently at a salon called Salon over in Greenwood, and like a bunch of drama had been happening leading to her getting fired from the space. So like there are some things where I'm like, okay, Jade, you absolutely should not have done that. That's so reprehensible, irresponsible. It's a show of bad character. But then there are some other things where I'm like, you know what? Those don't necessarily reflect poorly on Jade herself. It's just a very complicated situation that makes me quite upset because, as you know, I've always rooted for Jade ever since she came onto Teen Mom 2. I felt like she was born into poor circumstances and has been trying her best to rise above all of it. So it's sad to see that she just might have been regressing this whole entire time. And not only has she allegedly been fired from the salon, but she's getting sued for not paying the judgment on the back rent that she's owed her landlord for well over a year and a half now. And apparently her vehicles are in danger of being seized due to this outstanding debt as well. Like, it really is a mess of a situation that she unfortunately has found herself in. And I think that a large part of the issues that Jade is having involve keeping the Sean guy in her life. Like, her baby daddy Sean is, you know, he doesn't do anything with his life. He's a deadbeat, right? Like, he's allegedly just doing drugs all day. He allegedly doesn't work. So he is only draining her. She's not only having to pay for herself and her baby, she has to pay for someone else's grown ass baby as well. And it's just too freaking hard for a young mother to have to do. I think that a lot of her problems would be solved if she cut him off. Heck, if she even cut off her mom as well, because Jade had allegedly been paying for quite a few things for her, you know, mom to be able to live, despite having what has been described on the show as a drug addiction of her very own. I'm just going to preface the exchange that I had with this source. I did do some background checking and found out that yes, she does in fact work for the salon. She's photographed across the salon, like on their Instagram page multiple times, and her role is described there. But like, obviously I don't want to give any more details outside of that. And in the exchanges that you're going to see between her and I, like, the reason why Jade was not tolerated at the salon was because the MTV crew was taking up way too much space in and out of the salon. Her boyfriend Sean apparently kept showing up and starting fights with her. Her mother apparently would show up like, you know, high as heck, and she would apparently try to smoke in front of clients, you know, even when they were minors as well. And last but not least, you're going to see this quite a lot. Apparently, she kept accepting people's money. She would pre-charge people for like hair appointments and then just not show up. And when people would message her about like, hey, where are you? I've got an appointment with you. I've prepaid and everything. Where are you? She wouldn't respond. She would get radio silence. Like, it truly is a mess and a half. But let's dig into the exchange. In the first message the source sent to me, she said, and I quote, "Jade got asked to leave from Sola. Her white trash drama was just too much for everyone. She was asked to leave the week before she went on her Las Vegas vacation. She had until the end of this week to move out, and she showed up at Sola with her baby daddy and several friends. They all sat in the parking lot while she moved her stuff out of her room at Sola, and they did not help her. She was asked to leave because she has caused so many of the stylists at Sola to be irritated by her and her guests, mainly all of which came to see her because she's on Teen Mom. MTV films at my work for Jade, multiple complaints. Not to mention a lady prepaid for an appointment $250, and Jade did not show up, and she did not call and would not respond to calls or texts. I have tea for days." So I responded. I was like, oh crap, not my Jade. Did she refund her? Is that par for the course with her? And the woman responded, no, the lady was calling her credit card company to dispute the charge. It's been a complete SHIT show ever since she arrived. OMG girl, I could go on and on about it all. I just had a meeting with our manager because so many of the stylists are upset about her being there and MTV filming there. There's rap music playing so loudly coming out of her suite, and the place I work is really nice. Like, each person is paying hundreds of dollars for their hair, and it's in a really nice part of town. So everyone there wanted her gone because she brought nothing but really, you know what, clients in there. And there was always drug talk and a lot of F this, F that. And she came into work one day in fuzzy slippers, like literally had fuzzy slippers on to come in and do clients' hair in the same clothes that she wore the day before, with her hair in a messy bun and no makeup on. That's how she came to work every single day, and all of these girls were just like fangirls. So as you can see, that was one instance of like a client allegedly prepaying Jade, showing up to the salon for her appointment, and Jade not showing up or communicating with her, and the client had to take it up with her credit card company. And then the source again sent me more exchanges between her and fellow stylists that kept documenting every single time this would happen. There was another time where she sent me a message between herself and someone else that read, "Jade's client is here waiting, but no Jade. Her appointment was at 1 p.m. And mind you, this was sent around 1:30, and then at 4:30, my source responded by saying, "Hey, is that not her sitting outside?" And her coworker responded by saying, "Yes, it was." So this girl really is like out here not giving a damn about her client, showing up 3 hours late and, you know, still not responding to their requests for refunds. That is just so damn trifling. The girl continued on to say that it happened 8 to 10 times before, where she would just not show up, or show up 45 minutes to an hour and a half late, and she kept showing up in the same clothes day in and day out. Remember, she said that earlier as well, that it had happened, and also that she would just like look a haggard mess and wear like fuzzy slippers. So you do wonder like just how stressed out she is in her home life, having to deal with someone like Sean on a regular basis, in addition to raising a child, would tire anyone else out. And I do also wonder if she is starting to, I don't know, like get into whatever it is that's got Sean and her mother like living such low vibrational lives. Like I really hope that they're not bringing her into drugs or anything like that. Like it would be very sad, a sad situation for Chloe if all the adults in her life were involved in drugs in some capacity. It really does have the potential to destroy her entire life. And speaking of that, remember, just over a year ago, Jade and Sean's former landlord had sued them for not paying their rent and won a judgment against them. But apparently Jade hasn't really been paying the landlord back, and so according to this source, Jade went ahead and bought a new used car, and the person who has the judgment against her is about to put a lien on the car in order to help recoup some of that money that she owes. And now for the other side of the issues that she faced working at the salon, this is where I don't really feel like it's necessarily like a bad reflection on Jade. Like a lot of her former coworkers were upset that the MTV crew took up so many parking spots, because it's a large crew, like lots of filming equipment, and so clients would have to park like quite a bit of ways and walk in and out of the salon from all the way over there. Sometimes it would be rainy and they would just be getting their hair done. They were not happy with that. But again, that's something where management could have just spoken to MTV and been like, all right, you guys are welcome to film here, but from afar. Like you guys cannot take up space from paying customers. I feel like that is a very reasonable compromise that they should have been making directly with MTV and not necessarily with Jade. And when it comes to avoiding paying off the judgment that her former landlord has against her, apparently a major way that Jade is able to skirt around that is by almost exclusively accepting cash from her clients, so that like she doesn't really on paper have any money. And then her cash up that she does for people who don't pay her cash is not linked to an actual bank account, but to some kind of like a virtual Visa, where again, kind of helps her to be a little bit untouchable. And so that's really chartering into murky gray areas that I think can eventually catch up to her if it is in fact true. Another particularly troubling claim being made here against Jade is that she had a client who's about 15 years old who came in with her mother, and apparently it wasn't until her mother left the room that Jade asked this 15-year-old minor whether or not she was okay with her smoking while doing her hair. She had like an electronic jewel or something like that apparently, and waited for the child's mother to leave the room before asking her if she could expose her to secondhand smoke while she was supposed to be working. The whole thing is just so freaking bizarre. And again, you'll see another two cases, one around January 14th or 13th, where Jade just did not show up after allegedly accepting $235 from a client, then again on the 15th of January. And then the source and the person with a judgment against her start talking about how much it is that Jade owes. Apparently it's somewhere between $6,000 and $13,000. and that is excluding attorney fees. And apparently it was from there where Jade slowly started eliminating her presence from the salon. She got rid of her phone number from the door, but kept the name of her service, which was Hair Slayed by Jade, and as you can see, it's empty there. And then last but not least, there's a screenshot from someone who was planning on booking an appointment with Jade until they found out that she was kicked out of the salon. And so she sent Jade a DM saying, and I quote, "Unfortunately, I'm thinking I'll go elsewhere. Someone reported that you were asked to leave your current salon due to you being highly unprofessional and taking clients' money but not showing up. I'm not willing to risk that and risk my hair being messed up. Thank you for your time. I hope you get it together." And Jade responded, apparently she was laughing as hard as I am, because she responded with LMAO with a crying, laughing emoji, which I think is just quite unprofessional. She really could have taken the time here to clarify the rumors that were going around, perhaps offer a discount of sorts and like something else to help kind of turn around her reputation, turn around the rhetoric surrounding her reputation. But she instead decided to just laugh at it and then go ahead and block this potential client, which, you know, just kind of goes to say that the rumors may actually be true about her unprofessionalism within the industry. Like I said at the beginning of this video, hearing about all of this really does disappoint me, because Jade was, at least last season, portrayed on Teen Mom 2 as someone who was going to do so well. She was fighting so hard against all of the unfortunate circumstances that she had going on in her life between her spouse and her family. But smoking around minors, especially when she only asked this minor and not the adult who was there with them, like that was just so freaking unprofessional. Taking money from clients and not returning their calls, never like trying to reschedule with them or anything like that. Not trying to pay off the judgment that her former landlord has against her, and allegedly only taking cash in order to avoid it as well. A lot of these things do speak to, you know, what I would consider poor character, but there are some other things as well that I don't necessarily think reflect poorly on Jade herself, like the stuff with MTV about them taking the parking spots or taking up too much space within the salon. That's something that the management should have been working with the producers on in order to come up with a solution that is satisfactory for everybody involved. And then the stuff happening with Sean and her mother, like showing up and acting a fool. Like, you really cannot control what two alleged crackheads are gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, that is totally out of control. But she does have the ability to stop her friends from coming to her place of work just to hang out like a bunch of unemployed bums or something like that, talking about drugs allegedly. Like, Jade, please, please, please get it together. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you, girl. Are you surprised to hear about Jade's downward spiral leading to her getting fired from her salon job and her still trying to avoid paying the very simple judgment that her former landlord had against her for allegedly not paying rent and damaging the property? Make sure to leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.